How you doing, Sagittarius? I swear there's been like so many interruptions, and it's like the third or fourth time I try to do your reading. In the pre-shuffle, 2 cards popped up. It was an Ace of Wands and the Tower. Let's see what we got here for you. Celtic Cross for Sagittarius. 4 of Wands. Ooh. Stability. I like that as a first card out. Building strong foundations. Building stability within your home, within your life. And for those you love. Three of Swords in reverse. You're coming out of some kind of betrayal. And you're trying to build stability for yourself. You're trying to bring stability back into your life after this heartbreak and betrayal. But it seems like you had to get over kind of like a grief period after the situation. What else do we have for the Celtic Cross for Sagittarius? It was on the foundation of a 10 of Pentacles. This could have been due to this could be a divorce or a breakup of a long-term relationship where you have shared resources, pooled resources. There was a former betrayal, and it shook up your stability. Maybe you've tried to bring stability back into your life after this, or there was an infidelity and you're trying to rebuild a trust, I suppose, because of shared resources. In the past, there was 6 of Wands. Whoever you're dealing with is pretty egotistical. They can be quite selfish. They like to be seen as someone who is victorious, who's strong, who's logical, who is, has everything, who knows it all. Is seen be seen as victorious by other people. Can be quite egotistical. It can be a fire sign as well. Aries, Sag like yourself, or Leo. Whoever you're with, I feel like someone was caught in the act. It was some kind of infidelity or some sort of lie. Something that was revealed that shook up the stability and within your home. And it could have been something about resources. Shared resources. Maybe this was a relationship that stayed together because of financial reasons. Like whoever was like the main breadwinner. And was bringing in most of the money, and perhaps like he had a retirement and like a 401k and all of that. And it was like, it became like a cheaper to keeper kind of situation, or, a sense of kind of codependency, or maybe maybe somebody was taking care of this Six of Wands character, as in like supporting them, and they were less than grateful to you while you were supporting them and taking care of everything, and they were just kind of freeloading off of you, you know, and just like living the life of luxury off of your efforts. And on top of it, on top of you taking care of everything and them just kind of freeloading off of you, you know, it was like they weren't even grateful or appreciative. Maybe I feel like this was a relationship or marriage that kind of just stayed together for like for financial means. Like it was more in terms of like, you know, the shared resources, the kids, you know, the shared home, the 401k, than it was kind of out of love, you know. Because it's like on the foundation of money. It could be a family business, or it could be shared resources. It could be, you know, what's in your future. Maybe it was like, maybe there was like some past infidelity that did happen. And let's say if the man is like the breadwinner, he brings in all the income, and the wife is a stay-at-home mother, or if you are, and you found out by some kind of infidelity, or, you know, like maybe somebody was communicating with somebody in the past, or, you know, possibly having inappropriate communications or interactions with somebody at work or some case, and it was like it was found out and you guys try to heal from it or deal with it. I believe like it didn't really, because there was always a sense of mistrust afterwards, because you always wondering now, somebody is always kind of wondering now because of the past betrayal. And I feel like you're always kind of wondering now, because if, you know, if they were hiding stuff before, are they still hiding stuff now? And are they really with me because of what they're afraid that they would lose? Or is this something that actually has love in? Because now it's like, even if you did have like a go of trying again and actually try to deal with this, there was always this sense of mistrust, and there was always this sense of hurt, and there was always this sense of resentment. And if like, and I could only imagine how difficult it must be to be in a long-term relationship and finding out a partner does that and trying to try again and not have some kind of sense of resentment. You know, I've actually been in a situation like that as well, where like a partner would have friends with benefits, you know, like he would go on business work trips or whatever and keep, you know, friends in different states or whatever, things like this. And always like, it's like a whack-a-mole, you know, whack-a-hoe. It's like when one hoe goes like, you know, is down, you know, you try to deal with it, you find out there's another hoe. And sometimes it's not even like physical cheating. Sometimes it's just emotional cheating. You know, they're not dealing with the issue with you. They're not communicating with you. They feel like they don't really have to, because they feel like, oh, well, you know, I earn all the money, I earn all the income, right? And, you know, and this is a sense of somebody who's kind of proud and egotistical and would like, you know, buy your silence or compliance in a way by, oh, there's an issue, oh, well, I'll just throw money at it. Well, you know, and it's like you're like, all right, fine, I'll just take your offers, I'll take your money or whatever. And then people on the outside of it, they're like, wow, you know, he treats her so good, look, he gets her this and this and that. But nobody really knows behind closed doors, like, what the hell that they did to make them feel like they're obligated to get you that now. You know what I mean? Like, instead, they always see the surface and they never really know what's really underneath. It's like, oh, maybe somebody has a, intimacy issues and, porn addiction and porn induced erectile dysfunction. So then they have to have a bunch of emotional affairs all the time. And because, like, who knows? But whatever it is, like, and what I found out in that situation as well is that, there's always a sense of mistrust. You can never really trust somebody again because, one, if they could hide something like that before, then what's to say they wouldn't do that again? If you had no idea that that was in their character, and if you, like, them just hiding it, it was like, I found out that if I tried to do that, because at that time I was kind of had my own unhealthy situations and characteristics and traits, and we all do. It's anyone tells you, oh, I don't have any unhealthy traits, they're a liar. We all do. We're all human, and it's important to remember that for everybody. Nobody is better than the other, and nobody is like more healed than the other, or it's just that, we all just run on different timelines and we figure things out sometimes a little sooner than others. But sometimes there's people who are just so stunted too. That's something that you have to recognize, because, like, I think this whole idea of mistrust, you can't trust somebody, and there really is no relationship, right? 10 of Wands in the future. Because if there's no communication, there's no trust. If there's no trust, then there's no love. And if there's no love, there's no relationship, right? And they all kind of go hand in hand in hand. And then if you find out you try to stay for this certain situation, and it's like, because of the shared resources, probably kids, probably maintain stability, possibly because, you find yourself like feeling that you are missing out on, like, real love, on real happiness, because when you're in a situation like this and you're being cared for and you're still miserable, you kind of slowly find out that, like, that money isn't everything. And, people would be given shit all the time and money, but then they would still be miserable. Miserable famous people off themselves all the time because they're miserable. So it has nothing to do with money. Maybe it has more to do with, like, self-worth, or, this egotistical person in the past who feels like they could buy people. And I feel like this is a very narcissistic person and a narcissistic energy. This is someone who uses money as a way of control. And I was like, well, I bring in all of the income. I bring in all of the money. You have all of this because of me. So I'm just going to do what I want. And it's better to, like, ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, And I feel like in the future that the gain doesn't, it doesn't equate with the loss of just being generally, like, ridiculously, like, unfulfilled. And then when you're unfulfilled, you get resentful. And when you get resentful, like, you get angry and explosive and distrusting and controlling, and You know, they think they could just fix everything by throwing money at it. Hey, let me give you this, let me give you that, you know. But then it doesn't fix anything, you know. It's just someone who thinks that they could just buy people, that they could treat people like crap and then just throw some money at it. And like, you'll be fine, you know, you'll be okay. You'll get over it, you know. But I don't think you will get over it. And I don't think you have to. Why do you have to compromise yourself? But I guess it really just depends on what it is that is your, what's really important to you, Saggy. You know, is it the tangible support? Or is it the whole overall support when you're in a relationship and not somebody who just dismisses you or thinks so little of you, to even not even consider your feelings and treats you kind of like an object, like someone that they could just throw money at and do what the hell that they want. This is someone who treats people like trash, you know? And I feel like you will release it because it's just too much. Like, this person is just selfish. How you see yourself is the King of Wands. You're rebuilding, you're creating. I see you're kind of like taking your power back. I feel like now that you have a sense of understanding, confidence, drive, and impulse, like the King of Wands, they're passionate about something. They're driven. They're creative. They're not the kind of person who just sits out on the sideline. They're doers, you know, and they're creators, and they have a controlled fire to them. And this is how I see you. You're directing your energy and your fire now. You're releasing all of the burdens due to all of this past betrayals, because, you know, it's like, yeah, I could keep myself in this situation and take whatever empty like gifts and promises and stuff, which I know is like a loaded intention, and it's a loaded gift. It's a gift that has like intention behind it and expectation of what you now supposedly owe this person for accepting that gift. And you're like, no, I think I'm good. You know, I got my own stuff. It's like, that channeled message that I had earlier and the past reading that I didn't post. I might edit it and post it anyway. Was like, you know what? Like, go away, ho. I'm making magic. You know what I mean? If they come and knocking, and I feel like they did, and I feel like they did come knocking, and they try to offer something and offer a new beginning, and I don't know, is because they think that they could just come in and out of your life whenever they want to, because then they're like some kind of gift, and then you'll just be there waiting for them, you know? It's like, dude, nah. Like, how egotistical can you be? You know, you want to play ghost, you ghost. You go away and be a ghost and stay a ghost. You know what I mean? This is how they see you. Magician in reverse. Manipulative. They see you as someone who possibly like a black magician. Somebody that manipulates energy or people. That's very interesting that they see you as a magician in the verse. They see you as evil and manipulative. If this is like a divorce kind of situation, maybe this is a splitting of the assets, splitting of resources, splitting of the family home. And your goal is to get a payout from this, because, you know, this is kind of like the divorce and, you know, the settlement of that divorce, and they're pissed. They think that you're being manipulative of this. that you're trying to control the situation and you're being unfair in some kind of way, that you're trying to pull some kind of like, maybe they think that you're trying to put a curse on them. I don't know, like you're putting bad thoughts on them. Could be. Maybe they think that you're hexing them or something. And, you know, you don't want to wish ill on somebody because, you know, like that kind of energy that you put out is the kind of energy that you get back as well. You know, when it comes to like hexing people or wishing ill on people, that's kind of like the evil eye, and it's along the same lines as like kind of cursing or hexing somebody. You know, and the idea is not to give them like some kind of like how they treat you is their karma, and how you react to that treatment is yours, you know. But they see you as the evil one, as a manipulative one, because maybe you do want half of everything, you know. And they're like, oh, he or she is like super manipulative, you know. Your hopes and fears of attaining the goal. The lesson to be learned blocking your development is the Nine of Pentacles, independence. To be on your own, independently, financially, emotionally. Someone who has all that she needs and who tends to her own self and her own garden and abundance, that you don't need to be depending on anyone. Maybe this is what the direction on what you would like to become and attain, or possibly this is who you would like to go towards. The lesson to be learned blocking your development is that you need to learn some independence. You need to not depend on anybody tangibly or emotionally, or like, because it did breed a kind of codependency where it's like you expected this person to make you feel a certain kind of way, and if not, you were resentful, and they expected you to do that, or at least to function in a certain kind of way, and if you didn't, they were resentful. And maybe there is a need to be more established within yourself and your own goals and your direction and drives within your life, so you wouldn't ever be put back into this position where they would have this kind of sense of control over you. I feel like this is kind of like financial abuse. Like, this could have been a husband or a boyfriend who've been like, hey, you know, you don't have to work, you could just stay home with the kids, or hey, you wanted to go back to school, you know, you should do that, and like, you could totally go to school, I'll help you, and things like that. But really their inner intention is that now they could use that as a tool, take away all of your own ways to financially support yourself and have to depend on them 100%. And that's another kind of tactic of control. Well, now that she has to depend on me, then I could do whatever I want. But then, you know, I would know where she is and where she's at. And she can't really say all that much to me because, you know, like, if she doesn't like it, I'll just threaten to throw her out. And then she'll, or like, you know, or I'll just, and then I'll make her dependent on me. And so I could do whatever I want. And if she doesn't comply with what I want, then I'll just say that I'll leave her. You know, so then you're at their mercy. Because now that they have that kind of power over you, and this is what I strongly feel, you're ready to move away from this because you see the manipulation. They see you as manipulative now because you're trying to take your power back. And they're like, she's so manipulative because now you're not playing their game anymore. Maybe they honestly thought that, like, you know, you wouldn't demand half or something. You're like, oh yeah, you could just keep everything, you know, and then now that you actually want your due, they're like, oh, he's evil, you know, I don't know. But this is your hopes and fears. You want to become emotionally, tangibly independent, physically independent, but you fear it as well, and this is where that codependency comes in. That maybe it's been so long if you've been at home with the kids for that long, or maybe if you've been out of work for that long, or even if you just worked part-time, that, you know, like you've been out of the, or even if you've just been a stay-at-home mom for so long that really, like, you don't even know where to start, or if you've been in that relationship for so long, it's like that fear of starting all over again. And is this what I really want? And maybe this is something that we could work out because it is so stable. But is it though? I don't think it is, because it's always overwhelming and it's unfulfilling. The outcome, 10 of Cups. What you will gain from this experience, the reward, the quality or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. This is a 10 of Cups. This is 10 of Cups could be like an ending to an emotional fulfillment, but it also can be like building your own emotional fulfillment as well. Building emotional fulfillment again after building a stronger foundation and creating a new one. And it was like, look at this, it's a progression. Look at that. You are progressing from the 9 of Pentacles, a single, to a 10 of Cups. I feel like you're going to meet a soulmate, whether you met them already or they will be crossing paths. I feel like this is somebody who has their eye on you for a while. Maybe that they were waiting to get out of something, or you were. But I feel like they're interested in wanting to build something with you. And I feel like let me see what's underneath. 7 of Wands, standing up for what you believe in. Okay. You know, and if it's not someone who wants to give an offer to you, which it very well could be, somebody new, somebody getting out of something, somebody who's been building up courage and finally wants to stand up and speak their truth in some kind of way. They want to offer you something and build an emotional fulfillment. And I feel like you're okay building on your own, creating on your own. You want to start to create stronger foundations independently and create an emotional fulfillment and a strong foundation within yourself and for your own family that you have to care for if you are a mother, a single mother, or, you know, or just even a pet owner, or, you know, it's just you want to create your own stability and your own strength because you've already been oppressed and controlled by somebody who try to use finances as a weapon. And you never want to put yourself in that position again. So you are actually progressing and you are using your own strength and your own passion and vitality and discipline in order to build your own stronger foundations within yourself and for yourself. And they think that you're a witch. They must be thinking like, oh, how the hell is she doing this? She must be a witch. You know, like, oh, like when I left her, or, you know, when I actually thought she would never really leave, and maybe she planned to leave this whole time, and you know, how the hell is she gonna survive, and how the hell was she surviving now that I left her? Because it was supposed to ruin her. She was supposed to be back by now, apologizing or wanting to work things out, because I wanted to make sure she or he was codependent on me. And he was like, he or she, they must be a witch. I don't know. That's how they see you, though, as the magician in reverse. That you played them. And although, because now that you have the upper hand, and now they feel played. Because, like, you don't really need them. You're starting off your own abundance. You're standing up for yourself, your own beliefs. And you are protecting your own self and, you know, everything that you have and you earned. And you are creating your own emotional stability and abundance. Maybe you are starting off with a business or a new career, or, you know, you're starting off with something that has potentially to grow, and maybe it is not showing you all of the financial rewards as of yet, but it's bringing you a lot more emotional stability. Is learning how to stand up for yourself, stand up for your beliefs, not allowing people to bully you, and staying on top. It's already bringing you in a huge, like, fulfillment and, you know, happiness within yourself, and an optimism that you probably haven't felt for a while, because this energy was like just holding you down. In the past, Six of Wands, they wanted to come in like, oh, let me help you. You know, I want to be your support. You know, let me be the knight of shining armor. When, you know, like with this facade and show, like, you know, abusing their power in some kind of way. But they were really good as coming off like really altruistic and charitable, and like, oh, let me help you out. You know, I want to build stability with you, and blah, blah, blah. And at first you were willing to accept this, and you actually felt grateful for this. But you found yourself, after you have got that, and perhaps it was something that was kind of started off quick, and you ended up kind of in a situation, and you were kind of, and perhaps they wanted to do everything quick. They wanted to hang out every day quick. They wanted to be in a relationship quick. They wanted to move in really quick. And it was because of this like anxiety or fear that they have of like, of anxious attachment. You know, you or them could have been so anxious, as in like, you know, a fear of abandonment, or a fear of intimacy. And it's like, oh, well, you get in a relationship, things end up really fast, then, you know, you start feeling anxious until you know that there is like, you get some stability, like relationship, and then you push for that, or you feel anxious until you get that label, and then once that you get that label, then you start getting this anxiety and fear, like, oh my god, maybe this is the wrong idea, maybe, like, you know, the walls start closing in, and then suddenly, like, you know, you find yourself in a kind of stuck situation, because, you know, you both rushed into this. And maybe somebody did this as a way of control. Maybe the other person, maybe it was both, this like learn patterns, and, you know, and it is actually from like fear and control. It's like that fear and anxiety. It makes them wants to have some kind of sense of control, or at least knows what's behind the corner. But then when you feel like you get what you want, then you start feeling claustrophobic and closed in and like this isn't right. Maybe, you know, like, and you start questioning yourself, or they do. And then, you know, you both like, and then when one person starts wanting to give you support, they wanted to be the hero, do everything, then they're questioning themselves, and then you feel that they're questioning themselves, and you're like, why? Something's changed. Like now they don't feel as excited anymore. We built this home and things like this. It's because like, oh, well, now they're like, they would run really hot and, you know, like commit really fast, but then they also get kind of bored fast or kind of like apathetic really fast. You're like, great, now we're stuck in this heavy home, supposedly stable home, as in like structure wise, but you know, it's like he seems more interested in everybody else, or at least somebody else, and maybe something was found and you felt this huge rejection, and then it became a codependency. Maybe you were codependent on him for finances. If you weren't, it was so like enmeshed, your finances, that, you know, you felt like it wasn't easy to leave, because maybe you did have a family, children, you know, like things like that, and you felt like, and maybe you did stay for the resources and children, and you thought that it would get better after this first time, or, you know, thinking, but then it never really improved because this person is kind of in general really unavailable, you know, and that's why they kind of rush into situations, and then they get kind of like apathetic and like kind of disillusioned after a while, because it's like there's no staying power with this kind of person, and it's like they don't really feel the need that they have to value anybody, because they feel like they're God's gift, and they could just throw money or something or a gift at them, and or you, and that's gonna fix everything. And now you stayed in this situation. It became too much to hold. It became too overwhelming. You kind of carried all of the burden, you know, this sense of rejection, and you tried to heal from this situation, but you found out that the only way to heal was to let go of the burden, because you can't force someone to show up the way that you would like them to show up. And honestly, like, even if you directed them that, hey, I want you to show up like this, I want you to tell me this, or, you know, I want you to tell me I'm beautiful, I want you to take me out on Saturdays, I want you, and even if they did it, it wouldn't even feel sincere because you told them to do it. And it's always in the back of your head, well, they're just doing this because they're trying to make up for this whatever in the past, you know. So it's never really letting it go. And it's like, if you're going to stay in a relationship with infidelity, then you either have to, like, you know, do that healing work and, like, you know, go to couples, you know, do the counseling thing, and, you know, go to your own counseling and try to actually you would have to kind of take it upon yourself to not punish him every single second of the day, you know, and not continually hold it up against him or her for that situation. Because if you commit to saying, okay, I want to work this out, then you have to commit to working it out. And it's like, can you even give them a fair chance to do that if, like, you always assume that they're continuing to do what they did? Is there any really kind of healing for that? And especially if they're kind of like selfish as there is, and it seems like that they are. You're trying to heal on your own because you're dropping the burden, and you're deciding to start kind of gaining back your own autonomy and independence and your financial independence. Because if you're in this situation, if they wasted your time like this, if you stayed with them a certain amount of time and he or she was cheating on you, then, you know, like, what did they really expect, you know? And maybe that they found out, like, they will find out that I feel like when you walk away, they'll start to see you as being manipulative, that you're trying to control them because they don't have that control over you. And it's, you know, and that's, I don't know. So it's time to, it's time to leave this situation behind. Whoever you're dealing with, they're super manipulative. They play with projections. They blame you for the things that they do wrong, and they see you as a manipulator. And it seems like there was a heartbreak, there was a betrayal if you betrayed them or they betrayed you. I feel like this was a situation that never really had a chance, because I don't think this is somebody that, you know, has it in them to have like a healthy relationship, because they don't really value anybody. And maybe, you know, you would have to ask yourself why it is that I rushed into something so quickly, and what exactly was the full intention of why I did that. Because maybe he was well off in some kind of way, he was stable in some kind of way. And maybe that was, or maybe it could have been like a sense of anxious attachment, where you started to feel so anxious and nervous until there was like some sense of commitment. And then when there was, you started to feel suffocated, you know? Or you rushed in because of that anxious attachment, and when you rushed in, you feel a sense of mistrust. And that sense of mistrust kind of like, because you will always think that they're cheating, then they actually do end up cheating. And then it's like your worst fears become realized, because they were always kind of detached as it is. Like, and it's not like they're just like really quiet, as in like, you know, someone who just doesn't like talking about their emotions but show it. This is someone generally like, you know, like, yeah, they're there, they show up when they say that they will, like, you know, they say the right things, but you never really are sure if like that's really how they felt, you know. It's the kind of person, like, you know, it's the red flags in that relationship that you miss. Like, I remember my ex-husband, like, you know, this is like, this should have been one red flag. Like, he knew how to surf, so he was teaching me how to surf. And then like, you know, we were far out into the ocean, and, you know, we were like at least like a mile or two out, and I was so exhausted. I was like, listen, I can't paddle back. Like, you're gonna have to, like, you know, I'm kind of tired. You're just gonna, I need a rest, you know. And then he looked at me, and then he looked at the shore, and then he started paddling back to the shore by himself and leaving me in the middle of the ocean. And I was like, oh my God, I can't freaking believe that. And like, yeah, I started paddling after him because I didn't want to be in the middle of the freaking ocean by myself. And then I paddled back, and then I got onto the beach, and I was like, well, what the fuck, dude? Like, did you not even consider, like, I said I wanted to rest. I didn't mean that, like, I wanted you to ditch me, you know, and you leave me there. But that was like that red flag, you know, that was that red flag that I should have, like, been like, oh, damn, you know. And it wasn't even that one thing. And it's, you go back and you look back at these past situations, and you find a really egotistical, selfish person like that. And then you would pick and choose, like, what was really the fight about? What was the thing that we would usually get at it? Are they just generally really inconsiderate or selfish? Do they kind of just like, have unhealthy attachments? Like, do they have like 500 friends on Facebook and Instagram with a bunch of like, Instagram models with their like, implants hanging out? Like, do they have unhealthy attachments with their friends with benefits and have a female or opposite sex, male or female, best friend, that they used to, date or whatever, but they're just best friends now? And, or do they have a really unhealthy attachment with their mother, and their mother calls like 8 to 10 times a day, like literally? These are things to really be aware of and to look out for, because these are red flag indicators. These are little like revelations of incoming betrayal. And they were my ex was very much like egotistical, selfish, like, yeah, I'll take everything, but then I'll treat you like shit for staying like at home, and then I'll treat you like you're a below average person because, and then I'll just do what I want. I'll leave and I'll act like I'm not interested anymore, and I'll live my life and as if like you're just kind of like, window dressing. You know what I mean? And you're like, dude, well, I'm just gonna, how about instead of me just hanging around as like your silent cheerleader, like as a puppy dog trying to get your attention and love, and I just drop all of this burden, I heal by myself and for myself, and I actually create my own abundance, and I be grateful for what I have now and who I am now without anybody else and without you, And now that you gain your own independence, like now you're the magician in the reverse to them. Why? Because you're standing up for yourself, you're creating for yourself, and you're actually creating your own emotional happiness and abundance. And you have potential to create everything that you have, that you would never have to depend on anybody else either. And I see a lot of good things for you. And get rid of this dude, because like, it's not worth it. Whatever you're gaining from this situation tangibly, it's not worth what you're losing in the end, because you still feel rejected. You still feel rejected and overwhelmed and overburdened. And it's time you let go of this so you could be able to heal and become an empress on your own, instead of somebody that's just a shell of themselves and feeling continually like rejected. It's important to see, don't look at the past, or don't focus too much on the past or whatever you've shared together in the past, or the past memories or the good times. And don't focus too much on the future, as in like, oh my God, like, disaster thinking. Well, I'll never be able to support myself. Well, we'll have to get a divorce. It's going to be so expensive. Instead, like, look at where you are now and try to make practical small steps every single day towards the goal that you have to go towards. Like, okay, so is my option is like, okay, now that we're broken up, we need to separate the assets. Okay, well, today I will spend the next couple days to like a week researching a lawyer, and I'll look at the reviews, the Yelps and things like that, and but first, do I need to find an apartment, and maybe you would put the apartment on the priority, and then after you get the apartment, then you could look at the lawyer and like, all of that, or like, you would set up who you would stay with, at least, in the beginning until you get on your feet, like small steps and plans. And because I feel like the sense of being overwhelmed, like there's so much to do, and that's possibly what kind of stopped you from moving forward in the first place as well, is just being overwhelmed with like how monumental the change would be and how much that it actually would take and to put into. But in the end, just ask yourself, are you happy now? Does this fulfill you, and does this make you happy? And is this a kind of life that if you died in a week that you feel like you were able to make the most of your time on this earth here? Be grateful for what you have on the day to day. Be grateful for the little things and the fact that you woke up this morning, the fact that you're able to take a breath, the fact that you have clothes on your back and food that you could, if you're able to, and to feed yourself. And you'll be amazed on how much being grateful for the very little things would automatically switch your thinking and raise your vibrations. And instead of thinking on lack, oh well, I'm not going to have this, I'm not going to like that, think, I am a money magnet. Money comes easy to me. Money wants to be with me. It is easy for me to make money as your affirmation. And I feel like there is, because there's potential. You have a lot of potential. It's just that you would have to stand up for yourself and fight for what it is that, you know, what it is that you really want for your life, and not forcing somebody to comply to your will, but being able to give that to yourself and for yourself. And it will lead to happiness. And I feel you will be gifted for your efforts. But that's what I got for you, Saggy. What else do I have? Let me see. Presently, somebody wants to fight and somebody wants to state their claim about a new beginning and an emotional fulfillment, an emotional connection. But I think it's best that you focus on yourself and your own business, because I feel like if you hold out for something that you actually do want and releasing the things that you don't, you'll have a way better outcome. And that's an outcome of somebody that actually gives a crap about how you feel and doesn't just try to control you, and who doesn't only just care for themselves. But that's what I got for you, Saggy. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment below. It really helps the algorithm and helps, you know, to get the word out about my channel. Donation box below if you feel moved to donate to the channel to help it keep going, and so I keep giving you this content. Feel free to do so if you're able. If not, don't worry about it. I still love you lots. All right, thanks so much, and bye.